This is the Brazilian Wonderkid series, Season 2. The Brazilian Wonderkid was finally back from injury, and it's fair to say he was back to his best. The young Brazilian had once again become one of the scariest talents in world football and was embarrassing his opponents with skills no one had ever even seen before. But then, out of nowhere, the enemy team score a technically brilliant solo goal to take the lead.
We need a goal, and we need it quickly.
The Brazilian Wonderkid took this personally by scoring a screamer volley to equalize.
Come on!
In the dying moments of the match, the opposition created a 1v1 chance out of nothing and chipped the goalkeeper. The Brazilian Wonderkid hustled back to save it, but he could only manage to save it with his hand. This got him a red card and he was kicked out. Will the other team score a last-minute penalty winner? The other team had a penalty to win the match, but the keeper saved it. In the next match, the Brazilian Wonderkid was suspended, and he noticed the team brought in an absolute baller replacement. This guy was actually goated at football. He was hitting some delicious-looking skills and was making a very good impression. He then scored a trademark banger to take the lead in the match. After that, he scored another banger to call game. The Brazilian Wonderkid was very inspired by his replacement and went to congratulate him. But the replacement snubbed him, which annoyed the Brazilian Wonderkid a lot. The coach said next match, the two ballers were absolutely lighting it up with their refreshing samba flair. It's like they had 100 chemistry already. The techie midfielder set up the Brazilian Wonderkid to score. Then the Brazilian Wonderkid set up the techie midfielder to double their lead. But the other team had not given up. They had a Croatian midfielder who got a goal back. Then he dapped up his teammate, who was coincidentally a dog. Then he clutched up and bagged another goal. In the dying moments of the match, he was through on goal again. Will the Croatian midfielder complete the comeback? The Croatian had one final chance, and he broke the Brazilian Wonderkid's heart with a goal to win. In the next match, they were playing against a mid-table side. In this match, the Brazilian Wonderkid and the techie midfielder were playing terribly. They could not score a goal to save their lives, and it was actually quite embarrassing. It honestly looked like they'd never played football before. Then they had a strong chance to score the winner with the Brazilian Wonderkid getting played through. But he skied it. Then the techie midfielder got fed up and smashed it in to make it 1-0. The Brazilian Wonderkid told his team that they must not let this slip. Then he turned in the middle and actually slipped. This led to the other team being through on goal. Will they punish the Brazilian Wonderkid's mistake? Started cooking right away with the Brazilian Wonderkid assisting the energy drink striker for a bicycle kick. Then the Samba midfielder set up the French winger for another goal. Everything was going so well until they noticed who they were playing against next. They couldn't believe who their next opponents were. Who will the next opponents be? The Brazilian Wonderkids subbed onto the Brazilian Wonderkid's team. This tiny Argentinian had crazy control and the ball glued to his feet. He somehow managed to score against the robot team. Will the tiny Argentinian be able to make a comeback? He went on to score another to equalize. Then he scored a clutch goal from a cross to take the lead. Then the Brazilian Wonderkid got sent for a hot dog, and the robots made it 3-3. The Brazilian Wonderkid's confidence was hella low, but then he had a flashback to how good he was at his Brazilian club, and it motivated him. There was a chance for the Brazilian Wonderkid to win the match with an insane 5-star acrobatic volley banger. Somehow he scored to win the whole match. Since this match, the Brazilian Wonderkid and the tiny Argentinian were becoming one of the most influential duos of the century. They were breaking records by hitting the smoothest skills and scoring the cleanest goals. These two were unstoppable. Everything this duo did was just so clean. Then, out of nowhere, the techie midfielder from a few episodes ago decided to snake the team and go to a top Italian team. He was talking smack about the Brazilian Wonderkid in an interview, saying he was trash. The Brazilian Wonderkid could not take this and had to get revenge at all costs. Now it was time for them to go head-to-head. The Brazilian Wonderkid sauced the techie midfielder up with a crazy move and opened the scoring with a volley. The techie midfielder was embarrassed, but he bounced back with an on-brand techie toe poke. The Brazilian Wonderkid took the lead again with a delicious flip-flap into a finesse shot. The techie midfielder showed great feet and buried a Rabona goal. The Brazilian Wonderkid was hella frustrated, but he managed to grab another goal. Then the techie midfielder hit one of the silkiest skills of the decade and finished with a diving header. Then he picked up the ball again and flicked it over. The Brazilian Wonderkid rushed back. Then the Brazilian Argentinian, on the other hand, went on to become one of the best players in the world. He was breaking records in every match, and he became a legend and one of the GOATs. The Brazilian Wonderkid felt in his shadow and decided to take a money move to a top French club. This meant he was leaving his legacy behind. See you in Season 3.
Guys, thank you so much for watching Season 2 of the Brazilian Wonderkid. Guys, Season 3 is going to be out very soon. And guys, when I tell you Season 3, the levels are insane. I flew all over Europe to film this, guys, because obviously he went to PSG, so I had to go to Paris to film it. So, guys, the collaborations, everything in Season 3 is going to be insane. Subscribe, stay tuned for it, guys. I'm posting it very, very soon.